Yo guys, how's it going? It's Market Scraper. So we can see this chart right over here. This is something I posted on StockTwits 2 days ago. If you haven't followed me on StockTwits already, definitely check me out there. Basically, we posted this and we thought that this is where we're about to go if we break down from this line here. You guys know that we broke down yesterday and we went down further today. So we're also going to talk about Palantir and also HYLN as well. Let's get into this now. But before we get into this video, if you get any value from this content, don't forget to put a smash down on that like button. And also, if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel. I'd really appreciate it. And in addition, I am a BlockFi partner now. So if you want to, definitely check out BlockFi if you're into cryptocurrencies. And you can get up to a 250 crypto bonus. I personally use BlockFi. I really like having that 8.6% APY on my stable coins. And this is the payout structure down here. Depending on how much you put in, will get you how much in BTC. Well, let's just jump into the charts now. So this is Tesla stock right over here. We can see that we had a significant down day today. So basically, this is the pattern basically that I was looking at, and if we broke down below this, basically I'm expecting us to retest this line down here, and this is our part of our ascending triangle that we think is the important pattern to be looking at. And this pattern was drawn before we even made this point over here. Keep that in mind. So we think we're going to get a third hit to the bottom here. This move to the downside is a significantly bigger move than I expected to happen just in a single day. I talked about this. I thought we were going to have a few moves like this going lower and then finally hitting this at some point in time. But the fact that we did go a little bit lower, this makes things a little bit interesting. And a few things that are interesting about this is that we don't have to go much lower to finally hit this. We just need time. We can trade up a little bit, we can trade sideways a little bit, and eventually we can hit this line right here before moving to the upside. And our bias is that once we hit this, we will go to the upside. Now, the converse though, just to be aware of, this could be a bear flag that is forming here. And if we broke down, we could see an amplitude of this move here respected to the downside. So we need to be aware of that. You guys also know if we break down to the downside here, you know my projected amplitude from this over here, which goes to like $500 or so if we went to the downside. But basically, this is an exciting point of convergence that is happening soon. And we should see a move to this line soon. And this will be pretty exciting to see what happens if it holds, if it breaks, and if it actually goes to the upside like we are thinking. Let's take a look at Palantir stock. Palantir, another interesting thing happened today. We talked about a few things with Palantir. We can see this line here. This is the line in the sand right here. If we go below this line, basically we'll go from being bullish to bearish. And we talked about a few interesting things yesterday. We talked about basically the close over here is $23.41. I talked about $23.40 was the important number to stay above. And if we went below $23.41 or 40 cents, we will probably retest this trend line soon. Now, today was pretty impressive in terms of how far down we went. That was a lot quicker than I expected. And we did close below this $23.40. So I am expecting potentially, going to this trend before going to the upside. Now, that's my initial expectation. However, there is one other thing to just keep in mind and be aware of. The fact that we went down so low, this could have been basically good enough. This was the test, for example, of this trend line. Even though we didn't actually seal the deal, this could have been where all we'll get, basically. And that might be the case. And actually, I think now that this is actually close enough. Basically, I was expecting a move to the downside, and then before having a move to the upside, the fact that we have this move here, I'm thinking that maybe this is it, and we're going to start to move to the upside. Because again, I am bullish in the short term right now on Palantir stock. I switched bullish when we close above here. I will become bearish if we close below this line here. Okay, let's take a look at the broader market, because the broader market matters, generally speaking. Usually it should. Depending on where this goes, other stocks should follow to the upside, to the downside. It doesn't always happen that way. Clearly, Tesla and Palantir both went down, even though we were up today in the broader market. Yesterday, when I made an update about SPY, I just looked at this chart. I said, I am very bullish, and I just passed along this because nothing's changed, and I remain bullish. But one thing to keep in mind here is that we had this basically technical amplitude from this bull flag pattern here all the way to 420. and that was our target. And we hit that target today. So the fact that we hit this target now, are we bearish now? Are we going to go to the downside? Well, actually, because of other things I've looked into, I talked about basically the first time that SPY hit 100, and I made this correlation basically saying that I think that we could go a little bit higher now, just like we did when we hit 100. If we did something like we did when we hit 100, this is basically that 19 or 20% move from the 4,000 or 400 mark. But basically, I don't think we're necessarily going to go there. Where I think we're going to go, actually, basically, is we can see, and this is all just speculation, it's not financial advice. I think that we're going to have a massive move coming up still. And I think we're still going to go to the upside. I'm not sure how high we're going to go. Maybe we can make it almost to 450. Maybe we don't make it to 450. And then finally, we break down. And when we break down, I think we're going to have a huge move to the downside, all the way back to 4,000 or 400. And this is all pure speculation. This is not financial advice. This is just based on what we've seen in the past with SPY 100. I am putting a lot of weight on SPY 100 from my analysis of what happened with 200, what happened with 300, and what happened with 100, and the other things that are going on right now. And with earnings too, things are looking bullish. So I have no reason to think that we aren't going to go to the upside. We have earnings that are bullish. We have fear in the market. We have a lot of things, inflation. We have things that are pushing the market in the upwards direction. Now, I think that there's going to be somewhat of a fear and unreasonable push to the upside, which is what's going to actually cause a significant sell-off. And this is going to be the key point here. When we break this trend, key point of when we're going to probably go down to the downside to potentially 400. This would be a massive move to the downside. This is pretty bold. I'm not sure if it's actually going to play out. This is not a certain type of thing. We're going to look at basically every moment and every day to see how it's going, and we'll change our mind along the way. We're not saying that we have to have that massive move to the downside. It's just based on history, and it wouldn't be the most shocking thing when things go up really fast. They tend to start to go down. So, and then know that I'm generally speaking somewhat of a bullish guy. And now we're going to take a look at HYLN stock. And the reason why we're going to take a look at HYLN stock is someone in my last video posted in the comments down below asking me to take a look at HYLN stock. So if you want me to review a stock, definitely leave it in the comments down below, and I may or may not review the stock. Okay, we can see here, this is a trend line that we've been following here. Basically, what happened was we broke below this trend line, but we can see here, even though we broke below this trend line, we kept hitting off this trend line literally every single day spent below this trend line. We did not want to stay below this trend line, so we broke to the upside. So what does that mean? This was a false breakdown, and that is pretty bullish, actually. Now, what could be our technical target to the upside? Well, if we look at this ascending, or this just basically this wedge here, this is the target that I would look here. I basically, to be more conservative, I will look at this line right here. This would be my amplitude to use. So basically using that and looking at where we broke out here. And if I put this right here, what or where does that take us? That takes us to around $15, a little bit higher than $15, but around $15. And what does that mean exactly? We can see that we have a lot of resistance right around here from this area that was once in the past support. This is basically what's going to hold HYLN down a little bit from this around $15 area. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this to go to around $15, a little bit above maybe. Let's look at these candles over here to get a specific target, basically. So the low here is $15.31. Basically, $15.31, around $15.30, that is going to be the target right over here. And then once we hit that, we're going to see some consolidation. We might see a pullback. We'll see something happen there. But then I do ultimately think we're going to break out to the upside from that potentially. I'm not sure. We'll see what it looks like at the time when we get there. I hope you guys got some value from this content. If you haven't already, smash the like button, subscribe to this channel for more content like this, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. And keep in mind that none of this is financial advice. This is just some random guy on YouTube drawing some stick figure lines on a chart talking to you guys.